Abusive coaches. I don't know that I've told this story yet, but I'm going to tell it now. When I was growing up, elementary was good. Coaches in elementary, volunteer coaches were good. Junior high, North Ogden Junior High, horribly abusive coaches, horribly abusive teachers. And there was one guy named Woodard, and what was his name? Yeah, Woodard. We'd be in shop class, and if you got mad at you, he'd grab you by the collar and kick you in the circle. He'd kick you in the butt in the circle. He'd kick you. Call it what do we call that anyway? As you went around, he just kept kicking you. Anyway, there was another guy named Stokes, and he was an abusive sucker. He was a little kind of a short man with short man's disease, and I actually got to talk to him later on and found out why he was such an idiot and an abusive person. But anyway, he was a cocky, abusive, little mean-spirited person, and so was Woodard. Woodard was an old alcoholic, and anyway, there's some mean people up at the junior high. We're all in our own scenario. We all need to improve, but they were pretty mean people. But we had some abusive coaches, and one abusive coach was Johansson. He was horribly abusive. Him and Aragon was pretty bad also, and Polson was so-so. But anyway, so here's how they introduced: if you want to come out and play football, we're going to run your guts out and we're going to work your guts out. That's what they told you. They would threaten us. They would threaten us with what they were going to do to us at practice. What a bunch of, that's why my coaches in high school were so wonderful. Webb was a beautiful, sunny morning glow. It was like the sunshine had finally come out, because Aragon, I got along really good with Polson, but Aragon, and especially Johansson, was extremely abusive to the kids at North Ogden Junior High. There was another lady. She was a female coach. I actually dated her daughter, but anyway, she was really ornery at junior high. I don't blame the teachers for being a little bit irritated, because those junior high kids, that'd be horrible working with them. However, I'm going to get back to abusive coaches. They would every practice they would run our guts out. They'd just run us and work us really hard. Kind of like the military, I'm sure. I'm sure their philosophy was from, a boot camp at military. What a bunch of idiots. But anyway, all they taught us was the ability to hate running. Now, in sports, we run. Why would you teach and threaten and punish kids with with running? Why would you punish kids with running in a sport? Why would you run their guts out? Why would you run them if they lost the game? They feel bad enough as it is. I mean, why would you run them to death when running is part of the game and part of the sport? There should be joy in movement. There should be joy in running. We should have the love to run, the love to exercise. Couldn't they have done something else? Like, I don't know what else that we could have done, but there's got to be another punishment, like upside down push-ups or something. I have no idea. There could have been something. But running athletes as a punishment is so asinine. What a foolish thing to do. I can't even believe that people are so prehistoric caveman idiots, and that's how they punish their athletes. So they'd run our guts out. They'd run us, if we lost a game, they'd yell at us and get mad at us and take us home and then run our guts out on the field again. Like, that really made us love the sport. Like, we really wanted to work hard for our coaches, right? Are you kidding me? Anyway, I could not believe. Now, on contrast, though, when we got to high school, the coaches were much more respectful. Coach Conley was more respectful. A lot of the coaches, Coach Coggins was more respectful. Coach Webb was a wrestler from Weber State College, and he'd come in and he would run. He would actually lead the run. He would run, and we would follow him. We would just run behind him. Now, that's a coach. That's a coach. Coach Webb would run in front of us, and we would run for exercise, and we would run to get into shape, and it wasn't a punishment. So these junior high coaches were abusive, and they would threaten us to run our guts out. They would, make us hit hard in practice and things like that. Whatever. But I mean, whatever happened to creating a love for the sport? And anyway, I think sports is, I think football is a foolish sport anyway. I think it should be against the word of wisdom. It's stupid for our bodies. I don't know how you would do this, but it'd be nice to have football be less contact, less tackling. I don't know how you'd do that, but anyway, what I would call it is wrestling, or I would call it swimming, or I'd call it something safe like track. But anyway, so my point here on this one is abusive coaches need to go find something else to do, like I don't know, maybe like clean up dirt from a street or something like that, because that's where they belong. They don't belong in working with and developing youth. When teachers and coaches are abusive and threatening and idiots, and they're trying to get an athlete or a person to love them, then that's totally counterproductive. And of course, I'm not saying this from a standpoint of I have my own struggles, and I have been mean and abusive, and I learned it from them. But I've also been mean and abusive in growing in certain situations, and as I've been a young father and developing, or as a coach, I've been fiery with kids and so forth. But anyway, so interesting. But what I would highly recommend is to not run athletes as a punishment.